Hagan, welcome to Villa Park for what could be one of the big nights this season. Bradford City start with a 2-goal lead over Aston Villa as the Bantams bid to become the first fourth-tier side to reach a major English Cup final in 51 years. The first leg finished 3-1 Bradford. Stand by for a potential classic in the Capital One Cup semi-final, second leg. Well, Villa Park, you can see, is full, raucous, ribald and rocking. Just one team have overturned a 3-1 first leg loss in the League Cup semi-final. Guess who? Ron Atkinson's Aston Villa versus Tranmere, way back when, 1994. And Villa have given their fans free flags and free scarves today to help to generate a proper cup-tie atmosphere. Around 41,000 here. And there you see the 6,500 who've come from Yorkshire. Bradford City of the fourth tier, 10th by the way, in League Two, here are 90 minutes away from the impossible, a place at Wembley in the final of the Capital One Cup. It does feel like a proper cup tie, this. Bradford have reached Wembley just once before the League Two playoff semi-final. They won and went to Wembley back in '96 under Chris Kamara. The two teams who will do battle, Christian Benteke and Aston Villa, need a night like no other here. 2 goals down to fourth-tier Bradford. It's not quite mission impossible, but this could well be a real cup tie. Bradford City know they'll face the teeth of an Aston Villa storm from the off. With a 3-1 first leg cushion, away goals only count after extra time has finished, by the way. So Andy Vyman's goal from Valley Parade won't matter until the end of extra time. Bradford's fans have seen the ups, the downs. Villa fans have seen mainly downs this season. Here they can take some brief succour, some brief respite from a League Cup tie, a League Cup semi-final. Villa, the 8-time finalists and 5 times winners of the League Cup, but not since 1996 under Brian Little. Let's check on the two teams. Brad Guzan unwell, so Shay Gibbon has shaken off a minor knock to start in goal. Nathan Baker's not so lucky, so it's back to 2 centre-backs today. Stephen Ireland recalled alongside Fabian Delph. Christian Benteke leads the attack alongside Gabriel Agbonlahor as Villa chase a first trophy in 17 years. There's the system for Paul Lambert, his team talk, a response to the jibes of the Bradford club chaplain and stadium announcer, who said their fans should look for Wembley hotels already. No surprise the Bantams go for the same 11 that shone in that first leg 2 weeks ago. At the back, Rory McArdle and Carl McHugh retain their places, with new signing Michael Nelson, who played for Lambert at Norwich, only on the bench. Big James Hansen back after a broken toe. He partners 17-goal top scorer Bermudan Naki Wells. This Bradford's preferred 4-4-2 as they chase a first major trophy since the FA Cup they won 102 years ago. Well, the surface here is in fine condition. Bradford in that first leg, 3-1, did not flatter the team from the fourth tier. Only 10th, but they are only, I think, 5 points off third place. It's a tight division. Villa, of course, are caught in a relegation fight, despite the goals of Christian Benteke, who has been a huge plus point since signing from Genk in the August transfer window. Benteke with 10 in 24 so far as a Villa player. 9 caps, 4 goals for Belgium. And what of Matt Duke, 35, a man who began playing pub football in Sheffield, now is one stellar display away from a place at Wembley and a major English Cup final. Let this one just wash over you. This could be something truly special. Paul Lambert took fourth-tier Wickham to a semi-final 6 years ago. They lost that to Chelsea. Here they start 2 goals adrift. It would be a huge case of egg on Villa faces to lose here to a team from the fourth tier, the basement division, who last year finished just 6 places off the bottom of the entire Football League. Phil Parkinson, his second season as the Bradford manager, he's been so relaxed before this game. Are his players relaxed? Are they in tune with what's required here? Referee in charge, Phil Dowd, who irked Villa fans in the final in 2010 when he failed to send off Nemanja Vidic, you may recall, for a foul on Gabi Bonlahor early on. Maybe a controversial choice here to referee what is for Villa a huge game tonight as Bradford start their game of games. Just once they've been to Wembley before, the playoff final for the third tier, way back when, 1996 under Chris Kamara. Here's Nahki Wells for Bradford. Nahki Wells again, the Bermudan player, top scorer, 17 goals this season, 13 in the league as well, in League Two, and there's a heavy one by Delph on Zavon Hines. Fabian Delph was dealt here with an ankle complaint. Did pass a late pre-match fitness test. That's a very heavy tackle, by the way, on Zavon Hines. Final warning there for Delph from Phil Dowd, as I say, in charge of that League Cup final at Wembley 2010 when he failed to send off Nemanja Vidic. There'll be a Gary Jones free kick here for Bradford. Can the captain here find someone? There's the header, it's on its way for the Bantams, but away will come the pace of Gabi Bonlahor. It's Nathan Doyle. Bradford here have begun, certainly with a bit between their teeth, haven't they? They're certainly not going to sit back here and let Villa come on them. Lowton across here to Barry Bannon, who's certainly been on the end of plenty of the Villa fans' eye this season. They're having a wretched league campaign. I know many feel the squad here is rather thin in terms of top-level experience. Benteke's pass here picked off, and this now is Will Atkinson, former Hull junior Atkinson, and to big James Hansen. Now Nahki Wells had a super first leg, didn't he, Nahki Wells? Here he is, Nahki Wells still, held up by 4 Villa shirts. Flicked in here now and laid off to James Hansen by Atkinson. It's Hansen. It'll be what? Only a goal kick. Hansen, the only man in the entire squad who cost a fee. £7,500 from non-league Guiseley 4 years ago. 7 goals in all this season for Phil Parkinson's Bradford. What a night this is for them. You can hear the Yorkshire voices. 6,500 have made the journey in. It's been this week difficult weather conditions. It's Ireland now for Lowton into Nzogbia, and then Bannon. Delph, who's Bradford born, of course, the former Leeds player. Here goes Delph on a mission. Still Fabian Delph. Back to Lowton here. Charles Nzogbia. Delph. Nzogbia needs a good cross here for Villa. In by Nzogbia, and the header will just drop wide. But you heard there the huge ooze from Villa fans. It's a full house here, the thick end of 41,000, and they will cheer every half chance, every sniff here of a goal for Villa. Benteke just off target. Nzogbia was impressive against West Brom in a 2-2 draw at the Hawthorns on Saturday, where Villa let a 2-goal lead slip against their local rivals. Bradford's last game a week ago in the northern semi of the Johnson's Paint Trophy, they lost to Crewe 4-1. The league game at Port Vale called off at the weekend. Here now goes Nahki Wells. He's already giving Villa's back line a pretty thorough going over here, Nahki Wells. Now after the first leg, many clubs were said to be keeping a very close eye on Wells. Here's Delph for Villa. Delph now for Joe Bennett, who they signed from Middlesbrough in the summer. Bonlahor, now Benteke. Hands off Nathan Doyle, the midfield enforcer for Hull. Still Benteke. Now Gary Jones. Benteke still there, heavy from Doyle and from Jones there. The meat in a Bradford sandwich there, wasn't he, Christian Benteke? Fell down on the scene pretty quickly. There's the foul, I think, from Jones. Maybe for good measure Doyle came in as well. Villa dead ball, set piece here, which Barry Bannon is on for Aston Villa. 2 goals adrift from that first leg. In by Bannon here, looking for Benteke. Away by McHugh for Bradford. It's going to be kept active here now by Kieran Clark. Lowton and Bannon. Delph is the square option here for Aston Villa. Delph and Nzogbia. This is good by Villa. Bright start. Whether it be an early Bradford flurry of possession in their own half. Away here by Stephen Darby from a Liverpool junior at right back for Bradford. Now Gary Jones. 9 years a Rochdale player. The Bantams do cut their cloth from rather more modest sources than Aston Villa do. As I say, just one player in the entire squad cost a fee, the £7,500 paid for big Jim Hansen from non-league Guiseley. Here's Ireland. Finds Bannon. I guess the first base camp here for Bradford is to get to half-time goalless. Here's Joe Bennett. Bennett, had to run by Benteke for Bonlahor, but away now will come Bradford. On the charge here is Curtis Good, the young Australian left-back on loan from Newcastle. Lowton has scored this season against Swansea here in the Premier League. Now Nzogby, who's really busy so far. And Nzogby's cross here in towards Benteke! Oh, and over the bar by Lowton. Well, Villa have begun this game as you'd expect the Premier League side to do. Pressure, pressure, and more pressure. Benteke's header in here for Lowton. Onside too, the fullback. Over the bar, but an opening there for Aston Villa, big time. And this could well be again to be similar in good own folklore, just like the one against Tranmere here 19 years ago, when Big Ron's Villa overturned a 3-1 deficit to go through to Wembley and beat in the final that near Manchester United. It's forward by Nathan Doyle. Defender here is Joe Bennett. Back for Shay Given. Brad Guzan is unwell, but he's on the bench today. Given himself has passed a pre-match fitness test, so Villa's goalkeepers, both of them, have had problems this week. Here's Ireland. And Andy Marshall on the bench at West Brom on Saturday. This is Lowton. Lowton now for Ron Vlaar, the Dutch international. He's been a big success since coming here from Feyenoord in the summer. Now Bennett. Delph. Now Bonlahor, of course Birmingham born. And so far so good for Bradford. They are containing Villa. As I say, that first base camp really half-time, get there goalless, and then they will believe. Bennett. Now Charles Nzogby. Back for Joe Bennett again here, the England under 21 fullback. Nzogby. He and Delph combine. Ireland square. Delph doesn't see him, or chose not to see him. Comes back now to Barry Bannon. And now Ron Vlaar. Still Vlaar. Back to Bannon. There's pressure here, stays on Bradford. There is Bannon. He looks to find the head of Kieran Clark, who's well advanced to the centre-back. And away comes Bradford City. They're on the charge, trying to get away down this left-hand side. And Paul Lambert, as I say, took Wickham as a fourth-tier team to the semi-finals against Chelsea, 6 years distance. Lowton. Drop here for Barry Bannon for Villa, and now for Kieran Clark. The game has a really good shape and feel and tempo so far, as it should do. That's given away here to Zavon Hines. Mistake by Bannon, and here goes Zavon Hines. In the centre he's got Wells and also Hansen. Hines stopped by Joe Bennett in the end. And Clark should get this cleared for Villa. Bennett. Away comes Fabian Delph. Delph. And Zogbia's cute touch now for Bonlahor. Ahead, he's got Benteke here. Bonlahor now looks for Benteke, finds him as well here. Benteke, acceleration. Benteke still across. Bonlahor's there. And Bradford hang on and clear. Now Bannon for Lowton. Pulsating start here. Lowton for Villa. Now Bannon. And it goes too high for Benteke. Well, Villa do have the hammer down here firmly. Benteke looks in the mood tonight, big time, doesn't he? Held in here by Bonlahor, then the change of gear to get away from Curtis Good. And cleared away by McHugh for Bradford. Well, Benteke, sense, could well be the man to make a difference here. Signed from Racing Genk in the Belgian top division. Here's Naki Wells. Zavon Hines. Hines against Bennett. It's a foul by Bennett on Hines here. Hines, you may recall, 3 years ago, his only goal for West Ham was a late winner against Villa in the Premier League at Upton Park. Yeah, Hines and Bennett, it was a barge in the back by the young fullback. And set plays brought Bradford much joy in the first leg, didn't they? This one is left to the captain, Gary Jones, now 35, 600 plus career appearances in all competitions. Proper grizzled veteran here, Jones, on this free kick. In the middle he's got McArdle and McHugh, Hansen, Atkinson as well. It's a Gary Jones free kick here. There's James Hansen. Off the mark there from a man who is 6'4". He is certainly a real focal point, a proper target man for Bradford here. James Hansen. Bradford born. He was working in the local co-op when he was playing non-league for Guiseley. Proper cup story. Here's Bannon. Now Ron Fla. And Zogbia takes it, then goes back to Fla here. As Villa now will just reset again through Fla from Zogbia. Lowton. And Zogbia on a mission here, looks to release Lowton again. Lowton takes on Good. Good, a young Aussie fullback on loan from Newcastle. Almost cost them their place in the FA Cup. He played when he was unregistered, and they were first thrown out, but they had that overturned and did go to a replay then with Brentford in the FA Cup first round. There's Hansen. And Naki Wells now, on it goes from Atkinson. And this so far has begun, as we thought, a game with a frantic tempo, and it's one you can't really tear your eyes from for one split second in Villa Park. It's can at times be a pretty quiet venue, but this game tonight has got the locals here in great number, and it's 6,500 Bradford support to cheer on Phil Parkinson's men. It's giving us a really, really good atmosphere inside this famous old stadium. Of course, a venue for many FA Cup semi-finals in years gone by. There's a League Cup semi. Bradford still that 3-1 first leg initiative. So far, so good. The mission, if not impossible, the mission unlikely. Here's Kieran Clark. And now it goes to Joe Bennett. Delph. Well, Delph charged down there. Rather, Bennett was charged down by Zavon Hines. He's a proper old-fashioned winger, Hines. He was with Burnley last year, but has come down now to League Two to try his luck with Bradford. Here's Fla. Fla across halfway. There goes Lowton. You see Villa's poised to get their fullbacks forward whenever they can, both Bennett and Lowton. Paul Lambert's men still have yet to fashion the incision to reignite the tie for them. I should say the away goal scored by Andy Vyman only counts after extra time has been played, not at 90 minutes. There's Delph. Shea Given for Joe Bennett. As Villa come again. Bennett, all given away, not for the first time. Bennett, there was a lazy ball which really came to Zavon Hines. Bennett in for Delph. Delph back for Bannon. It's a very young Villa team, has been all season. It's been certainly a chief complaint heard by the whole 10, the Villa Park faithful. This is Ireland, who does have experience, in towards Agbonlahor, homegrown of course. There's Atkinson beaten by Lowton. It's Agbonlahor on, but should be easy pickings here for Matt Duke. Matt Duke, as I say, 35, a man who has overcome a proper off-the-field battle too. The goalkeeper formerly at Burton and Hull. 5 years ago he was suffering this month from testicular cancer. Here's Naki Wells. That come to Hansen. It's improvised back to Given. Given now 36, Ireland's most capped of all time, 125 internationals. He's back in contention too. He had retired from the national side, but he says he's available again for Old Trap. Here's Atkinson, run by Lowton now for Ireland. Ireland spots the run here of Agbonlahor. He light the fires. Agbonlahor for Villa. Good should clear. Now Atkinson breaks. Stopped by Bannon here for Aston Villa. Bannon and Zogbia. And Zogbia held up by Nathan Doyle. Here's Joe Bennett now from left back. Delph. Delph's cross. Agbonlahor too high for him. And so far the job of containment has been done okay by the team's Men Power League 2. Bradford City, who've won away from home 3 times in this cup run so far. Notts County, Watford and Wigan on penalties. Done by Curtis Good. Hansen straight to Bannon here. And Villa's last major trophy, this League Cup, under Brian Little, 1996. Ireland. Now Charlan Zogbia looking for Benteke. Oh, straight at the goalkeeper. Oh, the header there, he hung in the air an age, it seemed there, Benteke. And Duke, I think, relieved to see this one go more or less straight at him. He'll be a busy man tonight, you can be sure of that. Here's Hansen, and then Naki Wells behind him. Run by Vlaar in the air now. Lowton clear. Here's Gary Jones. Atkinson for Bradford now into Wells, who's misplaced that straight to Stephen Ireland. And Zogbia. Delph wants it. Now Delph has it for Villa here. In the mood here, Delph. On he goes. Delph! Just over the bar from the Bradford-born player for Aston Villa. He was a former Bradford junior many years ago before he joined the academy at Leeds. Here he went on with a real sense of purpose for Villa, and that just zips over the top. Great strong run here by Delph. Just over the top. And Lambert's men on the front foot as they have to be, 2 down. There's Bennett. Away by Derby. And it's on by Doyle. This is Barry Bannon dispossessed by Wells, and then Doyle for Hines. I don't know what irked, certainly Paul Lambert was definitely irked by the Bradford club chaplain and stadium announcer, who said at that first next conclusion, you can look for hotels now to the fans in London around Wembley. That was used as inspiration for the Villa team talk tonight. Away here by Kieran Clark for the Premier League club. Now it's Benteke. And Zogbia stopped by McArdle. Delph for heavy tackle here by Derby, but the ball was won fair and square. Play goes on here now with Zavon Hines. Derby again. And Stephen Derby there, the ex-Liverpool junior, went in certainly full force here with Gabi Agbonlahor. Only 2 league goals this season, but 3 in this League Cup run for Gabi Agbonlahor. Now it's Ireland for Aston Villa. And now to Kieran Clark, young homegrown centre-back. Of course, Richard Dunn is still injured. He's on his way back. He's begun training again, Richard Dunn, having not played at all since the Euros in the summer. Here's Bannon. Agbonlahor. Bannon. Villa here able to dictate the pace, the possession, the play, as they should, being the team from the top tier. Here's Ireland now onto Bannon. Now to Bennett, the fullback, who has licence to get forward here. He'll look to involve Zogbia. And Zogbia still, he's got Lowton square, and here now is Barry Bannon. And for Lowton. Matthew Lowton's ball in here, looking for Delph, but too high, too long, too heavy. Just sense that Delph might hold the key here for Villa tonight. He's really fired up against his hometown club, and he's begun this game exceptionally well. Lowton, of course, a Yorkshireman. He came here from the Blades, Sheffield United of League One. Paul Lambert does like to trawl the lower divisions to find players to play in the top division. Agbonlahor beaten in the air there by McHugh. It's Clark. Well, it's Hines. It'll be a throw to Bradford. Well, so far on a Parky night, Parky's men are doing okay. There'll be a Derby throw here then for Bradford City. That's for and finds Nathan Doyle. Doyle now for Will Atkinson, 2 ex-Hull players in combination. That passing earns applause. It's the applause to mark the 90th minute, which is the shirt number, of course, of his club captain, Stephen Petrov, who is still recovering from leukemia. Everyone's thoughts, of course, are with Stan. Such an iconic figure. Feel the love for Villa's captain. Here's Bennett. And he'll try and involve Agbonlahor here for Villa. Knocked away by Zavon Hines. And a warm applause still for Stilian Petrov. He is an iconic player here the club captain. Vla, of course, has taken the armband in his absence. And by Bennett here, that's Benteke. Headed down by Bonlahor now to Nzogbia. And Bonlahor, can he turn? Yes, he can! Matt Duke, the save. And Duke had such a stellar first leg, it was really a case of nonchalant pass. Bonlahor from what was a tightish angle. It was a good save from the veteran former Hull and Burton goalkeeper. As I say, began playing club football in Sheffield. Now here he is on the cusp of a major English Cup final. Last fourth team, by the way, to reach the major final, the League Cup final back in '62 was then 4th Division Rochdale against Norwich. Here's Ed Bonlahor. Delph. And now Bennett. Bennett's cross, looking for Benteke. It's halfway by Atkinson, it's further clear now. But retrieved here by Bannon, who makes the space. It's for Lowton. Now Vla. Vla, and there's Benteke. Away by McArdle. And Good. Given here to Lowton. Good now will clear again. Hansen. Give them top marks. They are playing 4-4-2. They're playing 2 attackers here, aren't they, Bradford? Both Wells and Hansen. Yellow card coming here. Yellow card shown here to Villa's Kieran Clark for this. And big James Hansen. So Clark, the first name taken here by Phil Dowd. It's Clark's 6th yellow to go with 1 red here against Everton back in August this season, the Premier League. McArdle's free kick. Hansen hangs up there and now looks to find Naki Wells. This is Zavon Hines. Still Hines. Still Hines, stopped here by Bennett, now Delph. Nearing the halfway mark in the first half, and Bradford still hold that 3-1 first leg lead on aggregate. The only goal Villa may have craved has not materialised just yet. They've had their moments. 2 fairly routine saves as yet from Matt Duke, but no real overextension of the goalkeeper. The best, that long-range hit really from Delph, which zipped over the top. Here's Nzogbia. Delph. Bennett. And Kieran Clark for Villa. Tight, cagey. And Villa, you just sense any ascendancy here. This is Bennett. And now it's Delph from Nzogbia. And Nzogbia has Bennett here, and now Delph again, who gets away from the challenge and involves Bannon now in turn for Ireland here, Stephen Ireland. Onto Matthew Lowton. Lowton and Bannon. Bannon goes across the field here now to Joe Bennett. Bennett's ball fizzed in. Benteke! And there's the first! Villa live again in the semi-final. Christian Benteke has the whole 10 rocking. The arrears now just the 1 goal. Benteke's finish, Villa in front. It's a great ball in here, met by Benteke, who just steers the ball here over and beyond Matt Duke, who had no chance at all. It's a fine finish. It's a fabulous goal from Benteke for Villa. And now they have their noses in front. Is that the touch paper lit here? The claret and blue touch paper lit by Paul Lambert's Aston Villa. Here's Nzogbia. Nzogbia still. Nzogbia going to get the cross in here. He's held up by Darby and by Doyle. Nzogbia's cross. This really is a key spell, you feel, now for Bradford to keep it calm, keep it contained, don't concede a second goal to level up the tie. Benteke, our fans call him the beast of Bodymore Heath, the training ground, a huge man, giant presence. And how's this for a finish? Flying volley. Aston Villa 1, Bradford City 0. It's now 3-2 to the 4th tier team on aggregate only. That's Bannon. Now Joe Bennett. Villa, you sense, now have the hammer fully down. This is Curtis Good for Bradford City, only 19. He's good again. He's played in the top division in his homeland in the A-League in Australia. Scored once for his club against the Brisbane Roar in that competition. It's Doyle now forward towards Naki Wells. Clark. Jones. Hansen. Stephen Darby. Darby now for Jones. Villa fans in tremendous voice. It's Naki Wells now for Hines. It'll come back to Jones. Wells. Now Darby. Jones. Naki Wells takes and turns. Naki Wells turns really well here. Naki Wells with a shot which was never going to overly extend the goalkeeper of Shea Gibbons' record and reputation. Need to get Naki Wells involved here, the 17-goal top scorer for Phil Parkinson's team. The lead still. That gap now is just a single goal, with Villa looking good as they come again now through Bennett. Benteke. Fly. Now for the busy and always involved Delph. Delph at Bonlahor. Stopped by Jones. Ball breaks back to Joe Bennett. And now Delph again. Bennett, Delph, Bannon, Island Square. So to here, Ron Fla. Fla for Lowton. Ireland. In towards Benteke, strong here, really strong Benteke. That's his stock in trade. Here's Lowton. Checks back now to Ireland. Ireland in turn for Bannon here. Villa with a welter of passes here around the box. It comes now to Joe Bennett, and he's on a mission here. Joe Bennett still. Bennett runs a good one here. Here's Ireland! Finds the net. Flag up there to stop him. Offside here. Simon Long's flag. Decisive. It stays 1-0 to Aston Villa here. Looked offside on the first instance. Let's have a look. Close, but yes, he is just beyond the last man, who was McHugh. Bennett's begun the game pretty well. Now Lowton. And now it's Charles Zogbia, and Zogbia checks away the attention of Atkinson. Now it's knocked on by Ireland to Bannon. And here come Villa again. It's Bannon now for the very busy and very impressive so far Joe Bennett. Bannon. Can Villa find a second goal here to level up the tie? Here's Lowton. Lowton, and still here away from Jones. Lowton and Ireland. Ireland now onto Benteke. Benteke lofted ball out towards Bonlahor, but picked off now for Bradford. Now they can break. There's Hansen, big angular striker, not one who excels with the ball at his feet, it's fair to say. Here's Bonlahor. On to Charles Zogbia. It's Zogbia. It's promising. It's dangerous. It's Zogbia still here. Blocked and cleared by Atkinson here for Bradford. It's going to be retrieved there by Vla, the Villa captain. Atkinson again, giving straight to Bannon. Now Lowton. And Lowton's cross, styling header away there for a corner. As once again here, Villa having a fine spell. Header here by Carl McHugh, who scored the third goal in that first leg 2 weeks ago at Valley Parade. There, a diving header, a lunging header. And Villa earn the corner. Taken here by Bannon. Bannon towards the far post, too high for Benteke. And a game to thrill and to absorb. It's still in the balance, this one. Bradford ahead, but only just. I did wonder how crucial the Andy Vyman goal late on at Valley Parade was in that first leg. Of course, away goals only count after extra time, not at 90 minutes. And so snowflakes began to fall then, as Duke clears away for Bradford. There's Hansen. This is Von Hines. Derby. Given takes control. Well, half an hour gone, there or thereabouts. Aston Villa 1, Bradford 0 in this second leg, so 3-2 overall now to the fourth tier team. Bennett. Here's Benteke now for Nzogbia. The cue away now for Gary Jones for Bradford City. This is Atkinson. Still a compelling cup tie, this. One of the potential League Cup nights. I mentioned the game against Tranmere here 19 years ago when they overturned a 3-1 first at Gloss at Prenton Park to win the time penalties. A great team of Paul McGrath, Dean Saunders, Dane Atkinson, Tony Daly, Kevin Richardson and Sean Teal, Earl Barrett. Big names, famous names in Villa's long and illustrious past. Foul here against Naki Wells. Villa with that Benteke goal ahead on the night. Delph now for Bennett. Every gold shirt there for Bradford is back behind the ball. Bannon now across to Matthew Loughton. Loughton for Ireland. Benteke wants it. And Zombie was chosen instead. Now it's flipped over towards the run of Delph. Delph with Derby. Now Bennett, he's got Bonlahor near his to him. This is Gabi Bonlahor. And Delph takes over. Delph has been a key man in this first half of Villa. Ireland turns away from trouble in the shape there of Wells. Here's Bannon. Back for Vlaar. Now Loughton. Villa here with a good spell of possession, a good head of steam built up here by the Premier League team. It's on Zogbia for Loughton. Loughton now will take on Jones and beat Jones as well. He may have to beat him again. Loughton, Ireland. And Zogbia has it now. And Zogbia will try and curl one here. Great effort. And a fine save by Duke. Fingertips there from the first legs man of the match. And Zogbia has begun this game with real purpose. It's a fine stop, one-handed, over the top. It was arcing here towards that top corner, and a 2-0 Villa lead until Duke's intervention. Terrific save. Here's Benteke with a header down towards Kieran Clark. Ireland. This is good by Villa. Loughton and Zogbia. And Zogbia tries again. This one is blocked away by the defender Curtis Good. Another corner here for Villa as they look to find that goal to level up the tie on aggregates. Duke will be involved plenty more, don't make any assumptions about that otherwise. Benteke, Vlaar in there, so too Clark. It's Bannon's corner. Not the best. That was worst, in fact, there from Barry Bannon. Homegrown. They have seen capped 11 times by Scotland, Barry Bannon. Also has a new manager now in Gordon Strachan to impress for the national team. Matt Duke will slow this game down as much as he can. And his team still just about hold sway. Cleared by Duke. Knocked on there by Hansen. Fine header on here to Zavon Hines. Ahead he's got Wells. And now Hansen too and Atkinson make their way forward. Here goes Zavon Hines. Still Hines. Derby arrives now as the backup. Derby's cross. There's Hansen. Met by Loughton. Away will come Aston Villa. And Zogbia. Can he light the fires now to get away from Nathan Doyle? He's going to foul Nathan Doyle. Free kick here to Bradford. Well, the Bantams road so far has been Notts County, Watford, Burton Albion, Wigan of the Premier League, Arsenal of course in that famous quarter-final. They won on penalties. Looking here to claim a third scout from the top division in Villa's own backyard as well. It's Doyle's free kick. It goes here towards McArdle. There's Zavon Hines. Now Derby. And towards Hansen there, who was always stretching for it. That's Gary Jones last for a Villa throw-in. Edging towards now the first half's last 10 minutes at Villa Park. It has been a tremendous tie so far. Here's Clark. Clark for Bannon. And Kieran Clark again for Villa. Bennett. Fly. Patience here, the Villa virtue. No hurry to get that goal just yet. Here's Loughton. Luton now for Clark, as Villa will look to get everybody inside the Bantam's half safe for Shay Given. This is Delph. Delph sees Bennett's run. Defender here is Derby. Derby just watches the ball away there for Bradford. 35 minutes gone. Benteke's goal, the second leg difference. McHugh's first leg goal still is reason why fourth tier Bradford are on course still for Wembley and the Capital One Cup final against either Chelsea or Swansea. Here's Bannon. That goes Villa's way. And Zongbia caught there by Nathan Doyle. And set plays given the aerial menace of Benteke certainly a real hazard here for Bradford to give away. Given to the mood and Zogbia is in so far. There goes Kieran Clark with Ron Flahr, the two centre-backs now join that Villa raiding party. And Zogbia takes, and it's Kieran Clark, or rather Ron Flahr, who met that one. Now Atkinson comes away for the Bantams. Atkinson, the chase on now for Nahki Wells here. Does have pace, Wells. And not maybe the savvy to escape Bannon, whose back pass for Given there was, well, let's just say unusual, unorthodox, got away with it. Out in here now for Vlaar. Now Bennett. Delph. Joe Bennett. That's a great ball across the field to the other fullback here in Matthew Lowton. They're playing some good stuff here with a degree of self-belief too, which hasn't been evident this season in many of their Premier League games. This now is Zogbia for Gabi Bonlahor. Nahki Wells tries to find Zavon Hines here. Hines stopped by Bennett. Here goes Zogbia ahead. He's got Bonlahor and Benteke and Ireland. Here's Bonlahor. Now Ireland. Ireland still here. Goes for the chip. Nearly finds it too. Villa here making moments, making chances, and Duke is being worked extensively. Ireland here with the little lofted 9-iron. Three tips there from Duke again, who's made a couple of now really impressive saves once again. In by Bannon here, Benteke's jump! Not too far away that time either from Benteke. Well, Villa here are able to carve out a whole host of chances in pretty quick succession. As Bradford here hang on for grim life. This, that Ireland chip. Decent tip over it was, I think, going to creep beneath the crossbar. Decent tip over there from Matt Duke. Night of nights for him and his club. Clark. Now Zogbia dispossessed by Doyle. It's Jones now for Derby. Here goes Wells. Wells with Clark. And Bradford there, able to find Hansen now as the break is led by Bannon for Aston Villa ahead. Ireland is waiting. Lowton again, he will push on from right fullback. He's done that in the first half, almost at will, hasn't he? Lowton, he's had a really offensive game, almost playing as a right winger for Villa in this system. Here's Bonlahor. Now Bannon. Bennett, who too has been able to attack with a licence here in this first half. Bennett and Zogbia. Clark. Ireland. He's had a good game so far, back in the team tonight. Now Lowton. Lowton still here on the charge. Lowton. Bannon there was sold short. Now the break is on. It's Atkinson on the counter here now for Bradford City. He's got support ahead from Nahki Wells and Hansen. Stopped by Bannon. That rare breakout, that rare sortie into Villa's half. Steve Parkin there, the assistant manager, and Phil Parkinson debating what's gone on so far. They're ahead just. As Curtis Good throws in for the club from League Two. Lowton away. 18th last season in League Two, just 6 off the bottom of the entire Football League. And here they are now on the cusp of one of the great League Cup stories. Atkinson. It's Doyle now, he will involve Stephen Darby. Doyle looking for Wells, who felt he was caught there in the back by the already cautioned Kieran Clark. Nothing doing now as this is McArdle, another McCure I should say. Given away by Good here, straight to Ron Flahr. Delph. Bennett's final first half, 5 minutes. Villa ahead on the night, but one behind still overall. It's come to Barry Bannon here for Villa. Bannon looks for and finds Ireland here with a tremendous cross for a ball to open things up here. Now it's out to Loughton. Loughton's cross goes back out to Ireland here. Stops by Atkinson. Penned in, boxed in, hemmed in here in this first half. Bradford City. It was always going to be like this. It was always going to be the Alamo, wasn't it? And now is Delph. As Villa come again here, another claret and blue tidal wave sweeps towards that Bradford goal. Cleared away this time by Darby. Back to halfway. Clark. Now it's Delph for Flahr. Ireland. And Bonlahor, was he caught there by Good? Not in the eyes of Phil Dowd, he wasn't. That's Loughton, and this is Bannon. Again here Villa enjoying a lot of possession around the Bradford box. It's Gabi Bonlahor now towards Benteke. And Villa 1 goal up here, and they could have had others, but for the reactions of Matt Duke. It'll be a night for this man to really dig deep and dig in. Maybe 2 or 3 fine saves. Come on City, the cry from the 6,500 Yorkshiremen high above the field of Villa Park. Here now is Ireland. Benteke, couldn't find Delph. It's Gary Jones now for Will Atkinson, he can break away. Atkinson. Now Hansen. Gary Jones. Good. And Good here towards Snacky Wells. It's just left there by Kieran Clark. He got the shout from Shay Giffen. As Villa now will press the reset button, and they'll have to come again now through Bannon, who's the player they often look to go deep to start the moves from deep midfield positions for them. This is Kieran Clark. Kieran Clark here with that hit towards Bonlahor. Benteke up there with him as well. It's away by Curtis Good here for Bradford. Ireland. And now it's with Matthew Loughton and Zogbia. Ireland. Bannon. Ireland's ball in here. Bennett will chase it down, won't quite keep it in, but certainly the idea was right there. The endeavour was evident there from Joe Bennett. One of many who've come through the Middlesbrough Youth Academy, of course. And back to the huge array of names who've come through the ranks at the Riverside Stadium. And after 100 games they were thereabouts in the competitions for Borough in the summer for Paul Lambert's team. And his team need one more. And Pardew, the Newcastle manager, doing a scouting recce here. Here's Zogbia across halfway, turns well. Ahead Benteke. It's Zogbia on a mission here, goes on his own, now looks for Ireland. Ireland's chance, in towards Benteke, arriving here, Benteke only just wide. Oh, the merest whisker there as McArdle put him off as best he could. Well, Benteke is a proper brutal handful, isn't he? McArdle did a super job to even just get anything on that. Benteke, you sense, holds the key here for Aston Villa. Still 1-0 the score. On by Hansen here now to Naki Wells. Wells, Zavon Hines. Hines, Wells, Naki Wells! Oh, the Bantam's close. It's their best chance of the entire half. Naki Wells, who was one of those who had the game of his life in the first leg. That's just what, a foot or two wide of Gibbons' far post. It's an absorbing tie, but it was always going to be this way, wasn't it? Lowton into Agbonlahor. Agbonlahor stopped here by Gary Jones. 9 years a Rochdale player, in promotion with them from League 2 a couple of years ago. There's Nzogbia. It's given away here now to James Hansen. Jones. The best ball, it's given away here to Vlaar now. Vlaar will push on. Vlaar in first half added time. It's come now to Delph. He thinks about it. Delph still here. And Fabian Delph goes on. On to Ireland here now for Aston Villa. Can they find one last first half chance here? Seconds of the first half to play as Delph goes for goal. It's going to run for what? Wants to throw. It is a goal kick. Delph, who had one effort much closer earlier. That one was, let's just say, rather more speculative. And Paul Lambert's men are in front, but still one behind overall. Winning the battle but losing the war. As Duke clears away for Bradford City. There's Hansen down here to Zavon Hines. Still Hines here for the Bantams. In the middle he's got Hansen arriving. It's away by Lowton. As the whistle goes to end a good open first half where Villa have carried the threat and have got the goal too. Christian Benteke with a fine flying volley to at least halve your ears back to 1 overall. Matt Duke, of course, has been a busy man. Another succession of really high-class saves from the first leg's outstanding player. Benteke has Villa in front, but the Bantams still lead overall. The half-time score here at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa 1, Bradford 0 over on the night. 3-2 Bradford still on aggregate. Well, Villa simply have to go for it. There's no second chance. There's no repechage. Villa know it is score or bust. Phil Dowd's whistle will start the second half now, with Villa holding sway on the night but still losing 3-2 across the two legs as the Bantams bid to become the first fourth-tier major cup finalists since 1962, when Rochdale lost to Norwich in the final of this competition. Over two legs then, no Wembley final. Here's Ireland for Delph. Delph gave his hometown and indeed formative club a real test in the first half. And towards Benteke here, Agbonlahor on behind him, and also look where Lowton is there. The right back Lowton, also Bennett on the left. Both of them have had tremendous games. Clearly, Paul Lambert has said, just push on whenever you can. There is Bannon now for Ireland. Delph. Again, you just sense the pattern here is going to be Villa having the ball, attack versus defence, and the League 2 team doing all they can to repel Villa's numerous thrusts. It's like a fencing match with Villa and those sharp incisions as Bradford duck and weave and try and avoid them. Here's Ron Vlaar. Vlaar for Nzogbia, had a good first half on Nzogbia. Here he goes, out to Lowton. And Lowton's cross, Benteke's header! Nearly finds Delph arriving there at the far post for Villa. Stays alive here now with Gabby Agbonlahor. And for Joe Bennett. Villa really, as they have to, going for this now is Bannon. Looks now for Lowton, finds his right back. Lowton for Nzogbia. Possession given away to Atkinson here. The Villa fans I know have been talking about the need to generate the spirit of Tranmere 19 years ago, that win after a 3-1 first leg loss, to become the only team so far to overturn a 2-goal League Cup semi-final deficit. Did that with that win on penalties, and Mark Bosnich itself having perhaps been lucky not to be sent off. If you get a chance to see those highlights again from that game, it's well worth a repeat viewing. It's one of the great semi-finals. Here's Clark. Now Bannon. Ireland. Benteke wants it, so too does Agbonlahor. Here's Benteke. Benteke caught from behind. Free kick given here against McArdle. Aston Villa with a free kick in a good area here. Might favour the likes of Nzogbia. This man, though, has once again been a proper one-man Bradford brick wall. Bannon, Fla and Zogby are the options. Bennett steps away, has a good left foot, Bennett, but just one senior career goal for Borough versus Barnsley last season in the Championship. So Villa's free kick, 25 yards out, as they try and score the goal to level the tie on aggregate. And Zogby with finesse, Vla with sheer unadulterated brute force. It's going to be Ron Vla to go for goal, hits the wall, comes back out now to Bennett. Villa retain possession in the Bradford final third here now. Barry Bannon's ball hung in towards Benteke, looking for Bonlahor. And a slice there, it's not a back pass, it can't be. It was clearly a mistake there by Curtis Good, despite the Villa fans' protests. Over this in a million years was intentional from Curtis Good. Maybe a show of the nerves there from Bradford's defence. I think they know what's going to be coming at them this second half. One or two flakes of snow on the night air in the second city. There's a knock here for Nathan Doyle, maybe a little winded, I think. Nathan Doyle, ex of Hull and ex of Barnsley. And the whole team in the squad in a way which won the promotion under Phil Brown 5 years ago. Stoppage here as now Villa do restart. This is Delph. This already is Bradford's best ever League Cup run. Their previous best was a couple of quarter-finals back in 88 and 89. Paul Lambert amid the light snowfall as his team chase again. They have to score at least one more to save their League Cup skins. Away goals only count after extra time, and there you see the snow falling upon Villa Park, one of the famous great old stadiums. This club having a pretty lean season. This is Loughton. Certainly they are in a relegation fight, no one will tell you otherwise. Of course their near neighbours Birmingham 2 years ago won this League Cup and were also in the same year relegated, so hoping not to repeat what Birmingham City did under Alex McLeish. Here's Fly. Loughton for Ireland. Now good for Bradford. Naki Wells. Atkinson on a charge, on a mission here for Bradford. Still Will Atkinson goes on. Head up by Loughton. Stopped by the full-back, and now Loughton comes away and releases Barry Bannon perhaps here to conspire. Bannon there with the intelligent ball out to Joe Bennett. Hines here has nicked it away from Bennett. Zavon Hines. Shirt pull there surely on Hines, but play goes on. Here goes Hines now with Delph. Well, Delph went down, but earlier for me there, Zavon Hines' shirt almost being torn off his back by Joe Bennett. Look at this here. How is that not a free kick for Bradford? And Zogby. Ireland. Couldn't find Benteke, good. Straight to Nzogbia now, Benteke perhaps. Atkinson. Cleared by the defender Rory McArdle, helped on here now towards Naki Wells. Vla with a stooping header down to Loughton now, as Kieran Clark can push on from his own centre-back position. As Villa chase the goal to give us overall parity. Ivanen's goal, the away goal, only comes into play after extra time, don't forget. This is Fla out to Nzogbia now. Nzogbia faced up by Curtis Good. And Nzogbia still here. Good block by Gary Jones. Body on the line there from the Bantam skipper. None shall pass. It's a night to dig in. Trench warfare at Villa Park here for the League Two team. In goes the crossman Nzogbia, turned away by McArdle. And here now goes Zavon Hines. Hines and Derby. It's Doyle, now it's Derby again. Still playing two strikers here in Wells and Hansen, but given no service at all so far. They are playing deep, aren't they, the League Two team, as of course you'd expect them to, but maybe too deep, allowing Villa to keep coming and coming and coming again, which is ominous. Benteke on Derby. And that's where Villa need their fans to really cheer them on. When this place is full, when this team have their fans behind them, Villa can be a real force, and Villa Park can be a proper cauldron. Played away here by Duke. Zavon Hines will put the chase on here with Bennett. It's Hines. Off Bennett last, corner for Bradford. This will be a chance to send players forward to pack the penalty area. Hasn't been too many of those. Off Bennett last. Set piece. Villa must beware. The likes of McHugh, the likes of McCardle, scorers in that first leg at Valley Parade 2 weeks ago. Hansen, of course, well over 6 foot, 6'4", the giant centre forward. It's a Gary Jones corner here. In by Jones and put away for another corner here. Big leap by Benteke of all people. That was a strength Drogba had for Chelsea when he would play as the almost makeshift centre half at set plays and corners. Jones here with this latest one for the League Two team, and it goes towards the far post. Yes, they've done it. It's Hansen. The pendulum swings again towards Bradford City of League Two. James Hansen, the former non-league man, the former supermarket worker in his hometown Bradford, has thumped home a brutal header here to make the overall score 4-2 to Bradford City. It's their tie again. James Hansen. It's a fine header. Thumped home. Aston Villa here. Maybe feel this wasn't even a corner. Maybe it was off Bennett. Or Hansen. And man, they only player in the squad they paid a fee for £7,500. What a story. Big story. Now Villa must score twice. Again to force extra time. And of course the long game now is that the away goal score is levelled up. And now is Bannon. Lowton into Nzogbia. There goes Lowton. Lowton now trying to find Hansen again. He's not much service so far, but you just sense that set plays, free kicks and corners could really be their trump card here, their strong suit, Bradford. In the first leg, the corners were the undoing of Aston Villa, and there again Hansen got free at the far post to place a gem of a header past Shay Given. 4-2 to the League Two team, and the shock is on again in a big way at Villa Park. Derby charged down by Ireland. Hansen, £7,500 from Guiseley. Instant club legend. Turned away here now. This is Hansen with Delph. Bannon. Now Lowton. Barry Bannon now sees how Bonlahor's made the run, helped on, looking for Benteke, away by McCardle. And now on the chase is Naki Wells with Ron Vlaar. And Villa now have to push even more than before. They now require 2 to force extra time. The game has swung just towards Bradford now, but still a long way to go, Villa, and not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Need that top division experience now to come to the fore for Villa. Players on huge salaries with huge reputations here. This is Delph. Delph now for Joe Bennett. Delph again. Ireland. Delph's cross. Benteke waiting. Good header clear that by McHugh. Comes back out to Lowton now for Nzogbia. Villa now push again with Lowton towards the box. It might come to Ireland here. Did. Now Barry Bannon. Joe Bennett in range now perhaps. And Bennett's shot. He's that of a player who's only ever scored that one senior goal last season for Middlesbrough. And James Hansen makes himself an instant Bradford icon. It's Ron Vlaar escapes there, the 14 times capped Dutch international, formerly at Feyenoord, so a top-level player here, given the slip by the former shelf stacker. Hansen scores on the night 1-1. Overall, Phil Parkinson's men are 4-2 to the good. Here now is Zavon Hines. Barry Bannon. One of the great League Cup stories here unfolding in Villa Park, no question. But Villa do have it within them surely to mount a real comeback here. International players, seasoned Premier League players, need them to show what they're all about here. This is Kieran Clark. Donald Hall just holds his run. Comes to Bannon. Now Ron Flahr. Ireland. I think he's got Delph inside now with Benteke. Benteke, you just sense it does hold the key in this game for Villa. Here's Fabian Delph. Delph in turn now for Barry Bannon, just one goal in the last 18 months. Here's Bennett. His cross-fist in, and put away behind there by McHugh. Composed head there from the Irish teenager. Carl McHugh here had to get this right, and he did. That's Reading Junior, first Bradford season. It's a Charles and Zogbia corner. And towards Benteke here, great leap again from Benteke. Isn't he a player? £7 million he cost from Genk, which in the current market is pretty much small change in the Premier League. James Hansen though, is he? Benteke's leap here, and there's McCardle with him. There's Hansen now, breaks to Naki Wells. Zavon Hines. Squares Hansen, goes back instead here now to Derby. Derby for Naki Wells. 6 caps for Bermuda. And Derby. This is Hines. And Naki Wells got the first goal in the first leg, didn't he? He's not been quite as big a threat tonight, but certainly has when he's been able to run and tease Villa. He's done a pretty useful job. Derby throws in now for Hines. Hines again now for Stephen Derby. Derby's cross. Oh, here's Hansen again. And now Atkinson. His defence suddenly is looking very shaky. Here's Hansen. Comes out to Zavon Hines here. Still Zavon Hines. Zavon Hines shot. Has Shea Given down to make the save. And Villa calling for the extra firepower. Darren Bent is going to come on at loggerheads. We've heard much of the season with Paul Lambert here. Can he come on here and maybe get his manager out of a really sticky spot? Cometh the hour. Cometh, maybe, Darren Bent. Another man, another international striker for his team to keep a tight leash on. And is this where Darren Bent reinvents himself in Paul Lambert's eyes? There's Bennett, mistake by him, breaks to Hines. Hines has been a real out in the second half for Bradford, hasn't he? He's had a good game. Wandering his career from West Ham to Burnley and now to Bradford. Here's that change, off comes Barry Bannon. So the almost midfield quarterback coming off, and in his stead will come Darren Bent. Just 4 goals this season, League Cup winner with Spurs 5 years ago. And Bent is on to try and save the day for Aston Villa. Roll of the dice. Less than half an hour between Bradford City and Folklore. In by Derby. There is James Hansen. Ireland. And it's back in there by Doyle here for Hansen again. Hansen puts the pressure on. It's away by Clark here for a Bradford throw in a good area. Well, that goal has, it seems, given Bradford a whole new sense of belief, a whole new lease of life, and it appears to have hit the Villa self-belief and confidence for 6. Villa, who before the goal were pushing on and having possession, making chances. No more. Derby throws in. Back for Doyle, and Derby combine again. Doyle's cross. Great ball in. Oh, what a chance! Hansen again. There was Wembley. in the breast of a forehead. Doyle's cross, and Hansen, 6-yard line, unmarked. There was sainthood passing him by. What a chance. Hit long here now towards Benteke. Will that give Villa belief again? Huge miss by Hansen. Huge miss. And Villa live again. Villa breathe again. This tie is not done yet. Make no mistake about that. This is a League Cup semi-second leg which has legs. This has a long way to run just yet. Hansen knows that could have been it. Wow, 6 yards out. Every day but today, that's a goal. Delph. Now Lowton. Lowton for Delph. That's Onzogbia, whose star has rather waned since half-time. He had a good first half, but second has been much more cautious, much more circumspect. Here goes Bonlahor. And Bonlahor still now, he's got to Ireland Square. This is Ireland. Bennett. Bennett takes on Hines here. Bennett comes back. Not into Hines though, it's read well by Kieran Clark, and now it's Bennett again for Aston Villa. It's a pulsating cut out. It was always going to be this way though, wasn't it? Oh, and here Delph was almost caught by Wells. He would have been clean through too there, and Wells got away with that. 64 minutes in Villa Park, and 4-2 now overall to Bradford. Here though is Darren Bent. Gary Jones. Curtis Good. There's Hansen beaten by Vlar in the air. Now Ireland for Delph. Delph ran the show in the first half to some degree as well as a midfielder, didn't he, for Villa? And two since half-time has rather waxed and waned. There's that Bonlahor. Now Lowton. Lowton. This is Onzogbia. And up by two, he's got the overlap here from Lowton. Finds him as well here. Lowton does well, but couldn't get away from Jones. Now comes Good for Bradford City. Every passing minute he's playing into the hands of the team who are 10th in N-Power League 2, the 4th tier. One of the great League Cup stories here at Villa Park unfolding. It is a special night. This is Zavon Hines. Hines takes on both Benteke and Bennett. Delph and Bonlahor. Ireland. It's McCardle now, Derby for Bradford. And of course the winners will play in the Europa League. The European carrot dangle for the League Cup winners. This is Bonlahor for Villa. And Bonlahor still. And he's got Onzogbia, goes back instead here now to Fabian Delph. Delph now involves Lowton, who's had a really good night. The Villa right back, he's got through whenever he can and is almost like a right winger for much of it. Now Clark. Clark towards Bent. On the stretch, Curtis Good away. Bradford do have a European season behind them. It was 13 years back when they played in the old Inter-Toto Cup and got to the semi-finals. There's Onzogbia. Now Lowton. Run, they beat teams from Lithuania and from the Netherlands before losing to Zenit of Russia in the semi. And there is Clark for Joe Bennett. One Vlar. Vlar now for Onzogbia will take on Atkinson here. Hansen as the backup option. It comes off Curtis Good last for Villa's possession. Bonlahor comes short. This is Gabriel Bonlahor. Now at the midway mark of the second half. Here goes Matthew Lowton. Lowton now for Darren Bent. Ireland! Big Villa moment. Ireland only scored once in his Villa career, which has been rather stop-start. Bent's first impact was to play a lovely ball across the 6-yard line. He couldn't though find the target. It goes wide of Duke's goal. The only goal came against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge 13 months ago in a Premier League victory. Duke away. And there is Hansen, who's done well now to find Will Atkinson. And Naki Wells. They're going to need 2 goals in a quarter of a game. That's the equation here which they face at home. Not making many clear second half openings. That's the real concern here for Paul Lambert. Well, many feel the manager's job could be under real pressure if they don't win this tie. It's okay to lose a one-off game against a 4th tier team, but over 2 legs you'd always really fancy and favour the Premier League club to at least make amends in the second tie. Not so far. Bonlahoy here now for Bent. Nzogbia. Here goes Bonlahoy. In goes the cross. It should be Dukes, and is. Goal kick, says the referee. Aston Villa 1, Bradford 1 in this second leg, but 4-2 to the Bantams of League 2 overall. One of those where were you nights if you were a fan of Bradford. I guess to Aston Villa. This would be a serious red nose for Villa. Naki Wells on the turn, ambitious. It might break here though to Zavon Hines. Still Hines. Ireland comes across. Hines keeps on going now. It's Vla under pressure. Back to Given. And where are the Villa goals going to come from? They require 2. And Zombie needs to get involved more here. Fans have stayed with Villa. There's no discontent from the stands yet. This is Nzogbia ahead. He's got Bent in the centre. Benteke. Nzogbia now for Darren Bent. Ireland. Now it's Fabian Delph. And Delph winds one up here. It was moving, but I think Duke's reaction knew that was going well wide of his goal here. Delph's sizzler came off the back of his own man, I think, at Bonlahoy, didn't it? Well wide. Stays overall 4-2 to Bradford now. He's going to make another change here. Andy Vyman, who's been unwell this week. Here comes on for Joe Bennett. Vyman, who scored the goal for Villa at Bally Parade 2 weeks ago. Here comes Andy Vyman, the Austria international. Well, they signed from the youth team at Rapid Vienna. And here we're going to see Zavon Hines coming off, and coming on here Gary Thompson, who scored the goal at home to Arsenal in the quarter-final, you may recall, the former Scunthorpe United player. So Hines, who's had a good shift, the ex-West Ham junior, will leave here to a huge Bantams ovation. With Wembley maybe around the corner in 20 minutes. On comes Gary Thompson, now 32. The winner at Watford back in the second round of the competition in added time. That's on here by Thompson towards Hansen. Bonlahoy beaten by Derby, back in there now towards Bent. Ricardo wins it now. It's retrieved by Nzogbia. Nzogbia in turn now sets Delph away across. He's got Vyman on the right-hand side here. There is Andy Vyman. Need him to spark a Villa fight back. It's worked back now to Charles Nzogbia. Nzogbia now for Andy Vyman. Flag stays down. Vyman ball stays in. Corner flag took a battering, but it's still in play. Now Naki Wells for Bradford. Naki Wells for James Hansen. Too much on it. It'll be a tired central figure now, James Hansen. Big, burly, battering ram as a centre forward. There's Benteke, and Derby keeping a close eye on him. Benteke there, robs Derby. Turned away, high and long, towards both Hansen and Wells. Foul against Hansen here, and knock in the face for Vla. Well, Hansen, what a story. Bradford born, former worker in the local co-op, playing non-league for Guiseley. And does come out there and catch Vla in the face. It was more of a hand than an elbow here from Hansen, wasn't it? A real malice there from Bradford's hero of the night. We should address, I guess, what this might mean for Paul Lambert at Aston Villa. If they were to lose here, would be a huge embarrassment for him, given the great job he did with Norwich over 3 seasons. And it goes on Nzogbia. Nzogbia, ball stays in play, but Good will come away here for Bradford. Curtis Good. Atkinson. Hansen. Ahead Naki Wells. Ahead also Gary Thompson. Here's Wells. Atkinson. Here comes the push, here comes the surge, led by Stephen Darby. Stephen Darby's ball, off the crossbar! Gary Thompson. They could have put this tie to bed over and over again with two chances in the second half. Hansen's header, and there Thompson against the Villa bar. This tie is still utterly compelling. Gary Thompson, scorer against Arsenal in the quarter-finals, here after Derby's run. That's a fine effort, given beaten. Comes back off the bar and stays 1-1. Villa stay in the competition just. Here's Andy Weimann, no flag. Weimann's cross, missed it. Benteke then missed it as well. First defensive lapse of the night there for Bradford. Ireland comes back now to Clark. Clark sends it in. Another anxious slice away, comes here now to Hansen. Now Thompson. Hansen's chase. Well, how hard has James Hansen worked tonight? Benteke, of all players here, not reading what's going to happen here as that cross comes in. Both centre-halves missed it for Bradford, but so too with Christian Benteke for Aston Villa. What a night to be a Bantam. What a night to be a Yorkshireman. Not so good to be a Villa fan. In by Derby here now for Naki Wells. Away comes Lowton here. Lowton looking for Benteke, doesn't find him. A quarter of an hour for two Villa goals. That's the bottom line, that's the equation now. That is what Villa require. And Zogby to inspire now towards Bent. Good. There's Gary Jones, 35, and still going like a perpetual motion there in the Bantams midfield engine room. Gary Jones working so hard for Phil Parkinson's team, who know they are a quarter of an hour from the trip of a lifetime. And he knows egg on face is not far around the corner for Villa. Unless they can do this, unless his team fold, collapse, capitulate. They're not so far. This is Zogbia. Anxious. Gary Jones forward now, looking for Naki Wells. Vla wins that. It's come now to Kieran Clark. Clark. There goes Agbonlahor now to light the afterburners. Up against Derby. Agbonlahor. In goes the cross, looking there for Benteke and Bent. Here's Delph. Scuffed, wasted, wayward, wild. Here's Atkinson for Bradford. It's a night to live long in the club's folklore, this for Bradford. A club who've known, of course, the lows of real tragedy, the fire back in 1985. A club many have had a soft spot for since because of that. And here on the cusp of the first major cup final was the FA Cup final way back when, 102 years ago, 1911, the last time Bradford played in a major English cup final. Here's Andy Weimann for Lowton. Andy Weimann again. Ahead Bent. Now on Zogbia. And goes the cross for Benteke, away on the stretch there by McHugh. Hansen, again working so hard, the big striker. He will be, when this game ends, put on his feet, exhausted. Lowton towards Benteke here. McCardle away. McCardle is international, 5 caps for Northern Ireland. Thompson away. Now for Bradford. I've got to know time now is not their friend at Villa Park. By my watch, 13 minutes of regulation time in which Villa must score twice. Ireland. There's Agbonlahor, here's Benteke. Offside the decision. That FA Cup for Bradford, 1911. And a replay at Old Trafford over Newcastle with a Jimmy Spears goal. Add to the list of Bradford icons, add to Jimmy Spears' name that of Big Jim Hansen. Bradford born. He's written the headlines so far tonight. Vla. It'll reach Andy Weimann here in the middle. He's got Benteke and Bent. Here goes the Austrian Weimann. Weimann against Good. Weimann's cross is wretched. I'm going to need to summon from somewhere the spirit of Tranmere 19 years ago. This has been a far sterner test from the team from the basement division. Paul Lambert led 4-2 Wycombe to the semi-final against Chelsea 6 years ago, but Bradford here are going to go one better, it seems. 12 minutes away from Wembley for just the second time in the club's history. Last time the League One playoff under Chris Kamara in 1996 in the third tier. This, though, is a whole different level. Maybe a third top flight scalp too, but here now goes Darren Bent. Bent's in here but overruns it, and there was a flag anyway, wouldn't have counted. Well, Wigan done for in penalties, Arsenal went the same way. And Bent here for me was onside to McCardle, I think, playing him on. That's the first wrong call made by the assistant so far tonight. Harsh against Bent. Duke clears. Knocked on here by Hansen, now for Naki Wells. Naki Wells. There'll be a corner here off Ron Vlaar. The possession second half, by the way, is 75-25 Aston Villa. But Bradford have a 2-goal buffer here, and they have a corner too. Their last corner from Gary Jones saw Hansen write a new chapter in the folklore of Bradford City AFC. There he is. The only man to cost a fee in the entire squad with a priceless goal here as the cross goes in. The header down, the ball's loose here, but there was a push. This time seen by the referee and Hansen penalised. Villa need inspiration, 10 minutes to play, that's all here. Unzogbia, if they get one, it might happen. They need to get that one, they need to get that foothold, that base camp, that something to spark a fight back. Here's Unzogbia. Now it's Matthew Lowton. Lowton still is held up there by the hard-working Will Atkinson. And by Vlaar. There's Kieran Clark, away by Gary Thompson. Clark retrieves. Stays in bounds here too with the centre-back. Booted to safety. Will Bradford buckle? Will Villa click? Will Villa find those 2 goals? The last 10 will be absolutely riveting. That was Benteke. Still Benteke. Played back here now to Delph. Delph in turn for Lowton. Lowton's ball in here. Benteke arriving. No direction. It comes to Andy Weimann here though for Villa. Good is the defender who just force him wide. Comes back to Lowton. Slapped him cross, which is met by Nathan Doyle. What a cup tie over 2 spellbinding legs. In by Vlaar. Derby away. There's Gary Jones. Wells now. Here goes Hansen. Not quickest. The race is won by Kieran Clark. A card coming here from Phil Dad. Didn't see what that was for off the ball. Certainly Doyle was the player left in a rather unseemly heap on the Villa Park turf. And Darren Bent is the player I think to be cautioned. It's Unzogbia who gets the yellow card. Unzogbia caution for this, for the challenge. And Doyle there he does, I think, lead with the studs. It was, I think, a case of going for the ball, which was there to be fought for. So caught the ankle of Doyle, didn't they? Probably sore, but I'm sure if they go through that, won't cause him any discomfort whatsoever. A night of celebration lies ahead for Bradford City. In 8 minutes' time, plus stoppage time. As a manager, his biggest moment is around the very corner. It's Colchester, Hull, Charlton boss Paul Lambert, one of the rising stars at Norwich of the managerial game. That star dimming somewhat here at Aston Villa, it must be said. Duke forward. That time here by Thompson towards Wells. Away comes Clark. Ball again caught there by a pretty robust tackle. Now Gary Thompson. Thompson Breaks to Villa, and away now will come Delph. Can Delph inspire? He needs to, with time in short supply. 8 to play, less than that. Here's Andy Weimann. Weimann for Delph. Oh, Delph in trouble here. Hansen has almost kicked his pocket on halfway. Gets away with it that time. Well, Delph slips again. The surface maybe as it gets cold, he's freezing up. There's Ron Vlaar. Vlaar for Ireland. Villa need inspiration from someone somewhere, otherwise it's going to be semi-final defeat. Ireland's cross. There's Gary Jones, seasoned, steady head, 600 plus appearances down the years. There's for Rochdale. On the break now comes Stephen Darby across halfway here with real purpose. Ahead Nahki Wells. Here goes Nahki Wells, the Bermudan. In by Wells here for Darby. Darby caught, was he? No real appeals. Comes back out to Wells. Corner off Delph. A breather for Bradford. And they want to take off Nahki Wells to bring on another winger in the West Ham on loan junior Blair Turgott, and England Youth International from the Under-17 World Cup in Mexico a couple of years ago. What a night to be a Bantam. Oh, they've had some lean years. 18th in League Two last season, 6th off the bottom of the entire league. And here they are, 6 minutes away from Wembley, and a first major cup final in 102 years. And many Villa fans have seen enough as they head for the exits. In by Jones. Turned away by Vlaar with again Hansen the threat. Oh, what a night to come from Bradford. The FA Cup 1911, the only pockmark of a major success on the club's copybook, but they're now going to be one short spell now away from Wembley. Hansen, Atkinson, Hansen again. Jones boxed in there by a couple of claret blue shirts. This is Ron Vlaar with Hansen now. 5 minutes to play, that's all. And Villa's job now certainly looks very, very difficult. It's almost on the impossible now for Lambert. Lack of, in the second half at least, chance creation, which will be a major concern against the team from the fourth level. Hit long here now by Kieran Clark. There's Ed Bonlahor, it's away by McHugh. Lowton, less than 5 minutes to play, in here towards Darren Bent. Turned away by McArdle there with a fine header. Nahki Wells, and Doyle forward now to Hansen. Darby again. Barry Thompson. There's keep ball here from the team who are 10th in League Two against Premier League Villa. It's an absolute joy to watch this. As Clark on a yellow card makes a heavy tackle. Clark in the first half was booked. That was rash, given his situation. Change here. Nahki Wells off. Blair Turgott coming on. The teenage winger, 18. England in the 17 cap at the World Cup in Mexico a couple of summers back. And Nahki Wells has again done his reputation, which burgeons by the game, no harm whatsoever. Another Bradford folk hero gets an ovation, as they know now Wembley is almost theirs. Turgott on for Nahki Wells, who gets a well-deserved breather. And Phil Parkinson and Bradford City know this season now will go down in the club's history. Landmark, milestone. Throw here which Darby will take eventually. Stephen Darby for Turgott. It's Bent. And now it's Ireland. Taken here by Weimann, turns. And he's got support from Benteke. And Zogbia with him, and Bonlahor now, and Bent join that Villa push towards the box. Here's Zogbia. And Zogbia through here for Gabiak Bonlahor. Out comes Duke. Duke, the cry from Bradford's fans in unison. And across the two legs, maybe he has been the difference. Some superhuman saves, home and away. Lowton pressured here by Gary Thompson. Bradford's story, what a story, route which has come via Notts County, Watford, Burton Albion, Wigan, Arsenal, now Aston Villa. And of course for a third top-flight scalp in the League Cup this season. What a story. Here's Jones now for Turgott. Turgott now lights the fires. Blair Turgott heads for the corner flag here. Sensible, savvy. In goes the cross. And Given has it. Maybe that was the wrong decision there by Blair Turgott. The ball back to Villa now. They can start again and come again. That's on here now to Andy Vyman. Vyman's going to get there too. Andy Vyman for Villa! And there's hope again. 90 seconds of normal time. And Villa require one more in that time that remains. Andy Vyman makes it Villa's chance to get back. Villa on the night now, 2-1 in front. Andy Vyman, the first leg scorer, with the finish. And the overall lead now is just the one goal again. Andy Vyman with a maybe a launchpad goal for Aston Villa. We shall see. Here they come again. Andy Vyman scores. Time in such short supply for Villa. Agbonlahor. Now Lowton. Lowton in towards Benteke. He might hold the key. We hear there'll be 4 minutes for Lambert's men to find that goal to cause extra time. What a night at Villa Park. Late drama. Yes, Phil Parkinson's men must dig in for what remains. Wembley 4 minutes away, an added 4 minutes away. Villa 2, Bradford 1 on the night. Overall, Bradford 4-3 up on aggregate. It has been a League Cup night to savour. It's not done just yet. Here comes Shay Given now on a forward push. The goalkeeper up towards halfway. Launched by Given. Towards Benteke. Drops between Agbonlahor and Darren Bent. Now Ron Vlaar. Matthew Lowton. In added time now, here's Benteke. Benteke beneath this here, with him he's got Nzogbia. Turgott clears it away. Villa on the front foot here as we now are in added time, of which there are 4 minutes for the Bantams to endure, for Villa to try and salvage this from. Half a claim here, not given. In it goes, and the ball's loose, almost fell there on the far post to Darren Bent, who was lurking. Such tiny margins, slender margins. Look at the claret and blue shirts in there for Villa. Vyman's goal has given just a minuscule modicum of hope. Lambert's men require one more goal in 3 added minutes. It can be done, as Duke clears, but will it be done by Aston Villa to force extra time? Knocked on there by Hansen, now it's with Given. Will Villa get one more chance? High, up towards Benteke. Here's Nzogbia. And Agbonlahor beaten in the air. Nzogbia with Turgott. Throw goes Villa's way. Villa Park is to a man on its feet. This is Ireland. Now for the impressive, still attack-minded Lowton. Back for Delph. Delph held in high. McHugh clear. Here comes the break. Ahead Hansen now has got the chase on. Up now to Thompson. Thompson versus Delph. Across comes Delph. Heavy tackle. Deemed okay. Oh, no yellow card for Delph here. Yellow card coming here for Fabian Delph. It is only a yellow card here for the player born in Bradford. As he caught Gary Thompson here with a pretty robust and late tackle from behind. No complaints, clear yellow there for Delph. There's a few more moments pass by here with now less than 2 minutes of added time to play for Bradford to see out. Close, so close. You can almost smell Wembley Stadium. Here's Thompson. That's a corner. And Phil Parkinson can barely bear to watch what remains. At added time, 90 seconds between Bradford and Wembley for just the second time in the club's history. And the first major final since the 1911 FA Cup. They won that. Atkinson here now for Thompson. Thompson still, away will come Villa now. Here comes Kieran Clark, Shay Given. On the clock, around 50 seconds to play. Given for Villa, launched long and high. That's on towards Vyman. Away by Carl McHugh. The whistles from the 6,500 Yorkshiremen. Mike Dean's watch being questioned by Paul Lambert as Given clears. Helped on here now, and Vyman on, and there's Ron Vlaar. And it drops here towards Agbonlahor. And here's Ron Vlaar. It's cleared in the end by McHugh for Bradford now. The final 20 seconds upon us. Villa throw. It is literally now or never. Aston Villa hero time. 10 seconds and counting. All eyes on Phil Dowd here. Hurled in long and high. Benteke's up there. Bradford clear. And Bradford have done it. The basement boys are the history boys, and Bradford of the fourth tier have reached the Capital One Cup final. James Hansen, Bradford born, the one-time co-op shelf stacker, cost £7,500, has kicked out the Villa millionaires, and 6,500 Yorkshiremen cannot believe this. It's a Bantam's red letter day in Birmingham. Big James Hansen. Wembley for just the club's second time ever, and the first time in 17 years. And the 1911 FA Cup winners might just have another trophy to add just 102 years later. Hansen the hero on a night for heroes. But what now for Paul Lambert and Aston Villa? But they don't care, because Bradford will march on to Wembley to face either Chelsea or Swansea. What a story for Phil Parkinson. It's all come good. League 2, 18th last season, 6 off the bottom of the entire Football League. Benteke's goal gave Villa hope. But James Hansen of all people, Matt Duker, another iconic night. 35, the man who began playing pub football with some superhuman saves. I was there, they'll say, for years to come. Bradford City have, in Power League 2, become the first fourth-tier team for 51 years, since Rochdale against Norwich in 1962 to reach the final of the League Cup. What a story, what a night. It's all over here. Bradford go through. They've lost on the night 2-1, but overall it's their tie, 4-3 on aggregate.